Testing. Okay, just preparing for death chat. Let's see. Prepping. Death chat. Hello, that guy! Hello. How's your Super Sentai project, by the way? Forgot to ask you about that. It's going as usual? That's awesome. Just finished adapting Kamen Rider Saber. Ah! I'm still tingling and itching, by the way. Right. It takes a while before it you know, slowly fades away. Kamen Rider. I'm not particularly familiar with Kamen Rider. Like, I think there's only one that I watched a little bit of, which was Kamen Rider Black. I think that's the one. Black, and the other one is what? Black RX, I think. Oh, that was so long ago. I was still a kid. Kamen Rider Buster, and some original new riders for the plot. I see. Sounds like fun times. Yeah, anyways, I'm just preparing for the death chat that is going to happen in 10 minutes. Buster in the show is an old man. In your version, Buster's a high school girl. Strong. And that is quite a twist. Tall and strong volleyball player. I see. Let me do a quick test. Show me the document we have. Oh, sure. Do you have a link to a Google Docs or something? Oh, cool. Let me take a look on my other monitor. Library of the King. Cool. I'll give it a read later after the dev chat. Hello, Sylvie. It's going okay. I'm just preparing for a development chat with a couple of friends later. So I'm just trying to make sure that everything on my end is running fine. Yeah, not a lot of progress on my end, to be honest, this week because of my part-time work commitment. Okay, seems to work fine. Let me bookmark that document you sent me. Just a moment, let me bookmark it. Also, let me turn on the fan. Oh, it's so hot in here. It's too hot. Okay. If I'm gonna show anyone, don't forget to give you credit for it. Of course! Thanks for sharing. Plug your server. You can plug it in here if you want. Right, anyone who's into Super Sentai, you can check out your server. Okay, let's see. Cool. So how's it going, Sylvie? How's your project going? Game manager is up and running. Okay, this is fine. Hang on, let me turn my fan a little bit. It's blowing into my mic. Okay. One of the major changes they did was with Slash. Right. Slash is themed after candy. In your version, it's themed after video games. Okay, let me check. Apple Small Business Program, Consent SDK, appads.txt, app tracking transparency, shader precision, test devices, which I have yet to do. Okay. Change his forms around, his super form becomes his standard form, and his standard version becomes the super version. I see. Okay, this seems to be okay. Alright, just making sure that things don't break during the dev chat. That's happening in 4 minutes apparently. Ads controller. Okay. After I'm done with this, I need to make sure that I get the GDPR compliance done. Game analytics, try to get it integrated. Oh man, there's a lot of work to do in it, isn't it? Never ending work. Let me check my to-do list. Check my to-do list. Oh, I need to fix this. Put it as red color. Excuse me. Okay, the bugs here are not that important. Hmm. Okay, let me just drop into the server. Prepare for the development chat. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Let me make sure that the volume is pumped up.
Oh yeah, you're right. I need to make sure that it's working on my end as well. Hang on.
Test. Is
Hello,
it
hello.
working?
Hang on. Let me bump you up a bit. Can you say something again?
Is it working?
Yeah, it is.
Wait, somebody's calling for me. I'll be right back.
Sure.
Mom, I'm streaming. Huh? What?
You just got news.
I just got news that my computer. I was supposed to get a new computer, right?
Yeah.
It was supposed to come in next month, like on the 21st.
Uh-huh.
It just came in.
Oh.
It built it and came. It came in like 20 days early. What the heck?
That's a good thing. That's good news. All right,
good
man.
thing.
Celebration time.
Yeah, I guess.
Whoa. There's what?
It's weird. I suppose coming on my birthday, but okay, sure.
Anyway, was that John just now?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Let me just.
Hello. Okay.
Dev chat. How's your week? How's everyone's week?
Well, I'm getting back into the swing of like developing,
Woo!
which is very good.
Awesome.
Like I had a drought of ideas for about a week, I think. Then suddenly this week I had a revelation. Then like I now have like too many ideas to implement. It's always a good thing, I guess.
Right. That is a good thing. That is a good thing. Yeah. I have a very eventful week as well. On Monday I do grading. On Tuesday I do grading. On Wednesday I do grading.
Fantastic.
Thursday I do grading. I was grading until just now. Yay!
That's a
very eventful, right?
Are you grateful for that?
How's John?
Okay. I watch a lot of YouTube for some reason. I don't know.
I see.
I made a lot of progress in like 2 days. Like a lot.
Nice.
Like probably more progress than I've ever made in 2 days.
Oh, that's nice. You're gonna show us your editors, right?
Oh, it's all spoiled already. Everybody knows about it already. Oh no. Oh yeah. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. Okay. So, welcome to the Skull Chains editor.
Ooh.
Wow.
Okay.
So there's 2 layer modes basically. There's like 1 and 2, which is very descriptive, I know. 1 basically means I can put down enemies, and 2 basically means that I can affect the actual level.
Ooh.
So the actual level is made out. The whole game, right? The whole level, right, is just an XML file, and it can affect all the vertices of the map, as well as all of the information about the enemies. So I can, for example, put in 2 imps here, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, I can go here, and then I can say at around, let's say 5 seconds, the map will turn to something like that to give more space for the other enemies. Something like that, right? And then check this out. It actually morphs.
Wow.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. And in addition to that, right? Let's say I wanted to place down the enemies, right? I can just play, and then I can just do something like, for example, okay, let's say around here, let's put maybe 2 imp giants so that like it's not too boring, something like this.
Hmm.
But after this, right, I can just say play, then I can dot them around.
Oh wow.
Hmm.
And then after that, you see this, right?
Hmm.
So I can literally just place them in real time.
Nice.
That's
So
good.
then
That's good.
I can hit like X, and it will save it out. And right now I have to actually do this, but yeah, check it out. It
Oh
actually
ho ho
works.
ho.
All
Hmm.
works.
Oh ho
So
ho. Ho ho ho
then,
ho ho.
oh man.
Oh damn.
One thing I wanted to share was that these walls, they have colliders on them.
Mm.
So they actually are affected. They actually will keep the enemies in and stuff, and they'll actually like have physics enabled on them. So you can actually do stuff like enable environmental effects where like stuff gets thrown off the walls and stuff like that, and bounces off the walls, stuff like that.
Wow, wow,
And yeah, that's basically what I did this week.
It's
Um,
fantastic.
wow. Yeah.
It's like one of my favorite. Well, I guess my favorite indie game ever.
yes.
It's very arcadey. It's called Assault Android Cactus, and
Oh, that game.
oh,
Yeah.
it's great. And one of the things I really like about it is the fact that the level itself is dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this it gives me that same vibe. It's going to feel really
Yeah.
dynamic, right? It's good, man.
Yeah. Like you can also change the number of circle iterations, so you can say like 20.
Hmm.
And then you can like have an actual circle to work with.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Assault Android Cactus. I'm taking a lot of inspiration from a lot of twin stick shooters. So that's an apt comparison. But yeah, as you can see, like it's still a work in progress. I still need to be able to load the levels, which should be easier to do. But well, easy as in like it take a bit of grunt work. But
You're
it'll be
you're writing
mostly-
this to an XML file, right? You said.
Yeah, it's just serialization.
Nice.
So it should be fairly easy in theory. But yeah, like you can just do this, then you can create multiple keyframes, you can do all sorts of crazy stuff. And all of this, like I said, is Collider. It has like Collider support.
Very
and stuff.
fancy.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's really cool. Then after that, like the enemies and stuff. Like I said, I think the most useful feature is the fact that you can just play it and just see it in real time. And you can also dot the enemies around in real time. Kind of like a game maker's sprite editor. Like you can just place pixels in real time.
This is the animation is a linear interpolation, right?
It's a linear interpolation, but like I'm thinking of making it like maybe a bit more smooth. But I don't think that's a priority for now.
Right, right.
I think priority would be actually to allow me to scale and rotate the level. I think that's a bit more important.
Right.
And also to be able to add Bezier curves so that it's a little bit more smooth in terms of how it looks.
Right.
I don't think the sharp edges really contribute to the look of it right now. Yeah, and then after that, like I said, you can swap the layers, you can put in all the existing enemies. I've been making some adjustments to the enemies. So, for example, I'm gonna make it so that a lot more enemies are more one note. And what do I mean by that is that some of them just charge towards you, some of them dash towards you, like some of them like do dashing patterns and stuff like that. And that will make it a lot more visually interesting. What I wanted to make it like is like Geometry Wars.
Ah,
Right?
so you recognize the enemy pattern straight away and you react to it?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm planning to do it like that, where like you have to kind of outlast several waves, and enemies have very, very distinct patterns to them. And they're not all that smart, but together they make very interesting effects.
Nice. Can
And
I?
on top
Yeah,
of
sorry,
that-
yes.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll ask you after you're done.
Oh, but basically, like I modified some of the enemy base code so that I can actually like make the enemies more efficiently. And I also figured out like a base working method for my work. I found that it's a lot more efficient to write down all of my planning on paper for about an hour before I start. And then after that, for 2 hours, I just work at it. So I was able to. So guess how long I took to make this editor actually overall?
This editor, given your speed, maybe an hour or less.
Oh, no, I'm not that fast. No, I think it took me 2 hours to do the enemy stuff and the level editing to me another.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow.
It's
Yeah,
still very,
so
very fast.
I think that that was like pretty fast for me. So I think in future I will probably be doing it like that. Oh yeah, the other thing is that the code is pretty okay.
Mm.
As in it's not slipshot code for once. So
Mm.
well, at least the initial parts weren't. But when I started to do the level placement,
Hmm.
um, a lot of the code had to be reused from the earlier ones, and it's very hard to put it out into functions because it's not enemies, it's like the map. So I couldn't
Mm.
like generalize it. So like I had to do some copy pasting. But other than that, it wasn't bad code.
Mm.
So I'd say like considering that, I think in future I would like to plan out all my stuff in advance. So I've been taking a physical notebook. You guys can't see it. Actually, I can just on my webcam, right? Maybe I can't because OBS is using it. But I have a physical notebook, and I've been using it to write notes on like all the enemies and stuff that I have. And yeah, whenever I have ideas, I just write it out on paper.
Yeah, I 100% relate to that.
Yeah. So for the next week, I will be doing a combination of a lot of enemies. I'm planning to make a lot of enemies the next week. So I'm planning to make dasher enemies. I'm planning to make ones that just charge at you without like doing dashing patterns. Laser enemies, maybe enemies with like multiple parts that you can hit off, stuff like that. Vomiting enemies.
Vomiting.
I'm planning on doing a lot of that kind of stuff, but I'm also planning on doing the level. The what will come in priority will be to make the level editor fully functional, and what I mean by that is able to load and save the levels to different files, and also I guess making the map rotate and scale. Yeah.
So surprised you didn't mention anything about making it blood red.
It's already okay. So it's if you notice, right, there's an
Huh?
oh yeah, like the what I did this week. I
Yeah.
mean, but also like I added a lot of chromatic aberration. I don't know if you noticed.
Ah, yes. Uh,
So
uh,
like,
Chromatic aberration. Also, like, what's causing the curve at the like when the effect is happening, right? There's this radar kind of a
oh,
feel.
that is the chromatic aberration actually.
A chromatic
I'm using
aberration does
chromatic
that also.
aberration. I'm doing the post processing for the chromatic aberration before I do the blood red thing.
Ah, I see.
I'm adding about 3-4 layers of like effects on top of each other.
Ah.
So if I think this will show it in more detail. Let me just create a quick level. So if I show this, right, and you see I see the edges of it, right, and I'm doing that like
Because I
yeah, and that's the
notice sometimes it
aberration.
curves a bit, right? So the curve is
Yeah.
because of that effect.
Yeah, the curve is because of the chromatic aberration, and I wanted it to do that because I knew it was gonna do a curve thing. So yeah, like I think it worked out in my favor in that like the background and all that will get a bit distorted and it will look quite nice. And also it will be more impactful the longer you actually use it for. So I should actually show that. For example, if you have an like let's say I put 2 eye enemies, right? Let's say here and here,
Yeah.
and then I played it. If I were to,
Oh wow.
yeah, you see that?
Yeah. Okay, I see it. Wow.
Sorry,
The longer you do it,
what was I supposed to see?
the
Look at the
longer
edges.
the longer you actually like hit for, right, the more intense the impact the effect gets.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
If you do like just a light bounce, see that it's not much, right? But if you do like,
It really
I
sells the impact.
yeah, I think I made I adjusted the mass of the skull, which is why it's a bit harder to actually hit. So actually, let me just adjust it just real quick
Okay.
so that I can show you easier. Yeah, see that?
Ooh.
Like this nice impact when,
Fancy.
and that's on purpose. That's something that I coded in. Oh, somebody told me hydrate myself. I will with tea.
Did you deem the background as well? Because I think like the readability is better this time around.
Yes, I did. I dimmed the background as well as making the chromatic aberration, but I also added some contrast elements to it. So if I die, right?
Hmm.
See it?
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's
Sweetness.
like it's basically using the post processing effects in Unity.
Right.
And then after that I overlay something else on top. Also, I fixed another bug where like initially the color compression had some problems, right?
Mhm.
So I'm using another shader from something else in place of that, and it's no longer causing OBS to lag, and it's a lot more efficient.
Nice, nice. And it still does the same thing.
It does a better job, I think.
Nice.
So that's good. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I missed? Probably not. I think that's the main stuff that I did this week. Mostly aesthetic stuff, and then I was lost for a bit. Then I realized that I could do geometry war style like arenas. And I thought I think that was like the main thing that made me realize, hey, I can make this like kind of like a lot more designed and like in a very easy way, right? Originally, I was thinking of making it more of a roguelike, where like there's randomly generated levels.
Yeah.
Then realized that that's not a lot of extra work, but it won't add that much to the game as it stands, because currently my game is based around arena style combat. If I suddenly changed it up to be roguelike, it will not really work all that much well, I feel. So then the geometry war style thing hit me, and I was like, oh, it actually, that works a lot better, so I'm just going with that. And then now I have a lot of ideas for enemies, I have a lot of ideas for how the level can change about, environmental effects, stuff like that.
Right.
So should be a pretty productive week next week. Yeah.
Would the format of your game be like this long stretch of combat until you reach the end, like in Devil Daggers,
Oh
or do you
no,
have something else in mind?
I'm planning to have geometry war style arenas. So you have to survive an arena for maybe 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Maybe 30 seconds depending on how hard it is. And then if you survive in that time, then you clear that arena. Then you can choose what upgrades or chains or flails you want to use before you head into the combat.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, there's going to be an overworld that you can choose before you go in. So it's like you can memorize the pattern, which is intended. You can kind of like kind of get used to the combat after a while. You can pull out some crazy stuff.
Yeah. Sounds
Yeah.
good. Sounds great.
It's a lot more deliberate, which means that I can make the enemies a lot faster and a lot harder, and I can make it like with just one life, because you're only doing it for like 30 seconds or 60 seconds. One more thing is that like if it's an endless, right, I have to make sure that the difficulty ramps up really quickly, right? Otherwise it get boring.
Yes.
But if it's segmented into levels, I can decide the progression very, very, very minutely. And also, I can put in just bosses. So it can just be one boss by itself in the arena.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, so it makes it very, very easy to adjust the difficulty and progression curve. Yep.
Fantastic. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
You were saying earlier you wanted to say something about
Oh no, I was gonna ask like what's causing the warping at the edge of the screen, but you already answered the question.
okay.
Yeah, it's great. I didn't really I didn't know that the screen warping is part of the chromatic aberration effect. I always thought right it's just the separation of the color channels, but I guess it's more than that.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, chromatic aberration is the separation of the color channels in a rounded way, like it's around the edges of the screen.
I see.
So that's why it's doing that. It's
So
like separating the color channels at like in like kind of a Bezier fashion.
So the closer you are to the edge, the more it separates.
Yes.
I see.
Yeah,
That's
that's
nice.
generally how Unity's chromatic aberration works, at least.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love this.
I feel like for every project that I do, about maybe 2-3 months in, I start to actually figure out what the game, not, 2-3 months in, I have this revelation about what the game is actually gonna be, and then I can actually see the rest of the game. I can actually like tell what the rest of the game is gonna be like. So I feel like that figuring out to use geometry war style arenas, that was my revelation. Like I figured out, now I can actually see the entire game. I had doubts earlier about like how the game was gonna progress and stuff. Now I can pretty much, I think everything is kind of set in stone already, except for specific details like exactly what boss I'm gonna use, exactly what law I'm gonna have. But in terms of the general gameplay, in terms of general progression, in terms of most details, I think they're all set in stone already.
That's great. That's great. That's the skeleton of your entire project, right? So
Yeah, skeleton.
awesome. Yeah. Once you get that nailed down, right? Wow, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's really really easy for me to like actually progress now because I just have like lists of tasks and I just do them. Yeah.
Cool. Oh, how many waves do you see for like say a single arena design?
It depends on the difficulty of the enemies, I think, as well as the length of the how long I'm gonna put the arenas. But I think that, and this is not answering that question, but I think an interesting question will be like how many arenas will I have? And I think I can look to like geometry wars for that, because I can like actually get a lot of inspiration for like they have a pretty long campaign in Geometry Wars 3.
Right.
So I think that I can actually make the game quite long with this. Oh yeah, that's the other thing about this system. I can actually add a lot of like replayability to the game.
Right.
Like I can make it so that maybe if I can figure out a way to reward the player for better gameplay, that might be converted to stars per level, stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, and like but I think like survival will be the name of the game, to be honest. Like, if I were to go for survival, I think it will fit the team a bit better, and I also think that will be easier on me. Instead of like trying to have them like do very very stylish moves, I kind of force them to do stylish moves to survive, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It's kind of like less Devil May Cry and more Devil Daggers, if that makes sense. You know, like Devil May Cry is like optional, being stylish is optional. And the difficulty, if you don't want to be stylish, is relatively easy. Well, not relatively easy, like it's easier, it's much easier. But for Devil Daggers, you're forced to do crazy stuff if you want to survive.
Right.
You're forced to learn like insane tactics, yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, so what do you guys think?
I think it's great, man. I can't wait to play your new levels.
I think by next week, I said I was gonna make the enemies and stuff. But we'll also have the thing about this is that all this is like inbuilt to the game. So I'm probably gonna next week's build is probably gonna have the editor in it as well if you wanna mess with it.
Okay.
Because it's very easy to mess around with.
We can expose it to the Steam workshop.
Yeah. That's what I'm planning to do.
Nice.
Because it's just an XML file. Although I might have some additional artwork that I plan to use, but like I think that's just like pre-made artwork, or like it just reads from files or whatever. So it's mostly the XML file. Yeah. So that will make it very easy to do Steam Workshop stuff, or even if, because Steam leaderboards, right, has like inbuilt small files uploading.
Right.
I don't know if I can take advantage of that and use it to upload levels, but I will see, I guess.
Yeah. Super Meat Boy used to have this Super Meat World, right? Do you know where they host it? How do they do it?
I'm not sure.
It's not through Steam, right? They have their own server or something, right?
I'm not sure, but actually, let me just do a quick search. Hosting small files Steam. Yeah. So No, it's Steam Cloud. No. I never heard of anything like that. So I don't think. Oh wait. There's a. Maybe there is something. I'll look into it. But basically, I kind of have to look into how the workshop or whatever works. And work from there.
I would be very curious to know if you can actually host, like your like host and share data with other users. I would love to know if that's possible.
I mean, workshop is basically that, so I think that's what it's intended for. So probably like, how does Broforce do it? I guess it's a question.
I have no idea, man.
Because Broforce is very similar in that it's just. Oh yeah, I'll look into it. Probably.
Okay.
Then I think that's about it from my side. But yeah, I think I did a fair amount of work this week, and I was able to figure out the stuff that I needed to. So I'm pretty satisfied with that.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Yeah, the whole editor is no small feat.
No small feat. Yeah. I'm curious to know how the morphing arena, the shape of the arena, right, as it changes, how it affects the combat, how it affects the gameplay. I'd love to experience that.
Yeah. One more thing I forgot to mention is that I'm gonna add more environmental stuff in. I did say something about it, but I didn't go into detail. It's basically just gonna be like stuff falling from the ceiling, or I might make it in the form of enemies, like stuff that just charges towards you, or the stuff that bounces around and stuff like that. But stuff that's a lot more physics based, that like kind of bounces off the walls and stuff. I think that'll be interesting given the fact that the walls are morphing.
Yeah.
Also, everything has to be continuous, otherwise, it's gonna break out of the level.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm good.
Yeah.
Good job.
Cool, man. Looking forward to more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweetness. That means it's John's turn. Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no! He spent his week watching YouTube videos. Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh, so this week,
Damn
my
it! What
segment
happened?
will
What
be
happened to your
interesting
pong?
things I found on
What
the
happened to your
internet.
pong, John? What happened to your pong?
No. Before I talk about my game, I just wanted to share this thing I found.
I see.
Which is someone wrote a Linux emulator, or rather, wrote a RISC-V emulator for Vrchat and ran Linux in a pixel shader.
Oh man!
Oh my god!
Oh man!
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. If you've ever seen Vrchat as this game world, right, like Second Life, or basically you go into the world, you chat with people, and you can creators can put create their own avatars and run shaders in worlds and stuff. And this person actually managed to write and port a RISC-V emulator.
What's a RISC-V?
It's a type of processor, microprocessor. It's a different architecture from ARM, from Intel x86 and all that.
Right.
So that's one of the architectures that Linux runs on, and they managed to because you don't really get store state in VRChat. So to do these kind of things, you gotta rely on shaders, I guess. So they managed to use shaders and render textures, because you don't get compute shaders in VRChat too. So shaders, render textures, and then to simulate the state of the CPU, and then manage to get this running here, which is amazing. I can't even imagine how to even get started.
Have you used VRChat before?
Sorry?
Have you used VRChat before?
Yeah, I've been in VRChat a little bit.
Not me. How was it?
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, it depends. Some people manage to find communities that they enjoy in there. There's a lot of crazy stuff made in VRChat. You would not imagine that these things can be done in there, but they are done. I played a.
Yeah, I think there are YouTube channels that's dedicated to interviewing people in VRChat. Yeah. Some are some of the interviews are pretty heavy. Yeah, but Yeah, sorry, John. I didn't mean to cut you off there. Yeah.
Oh, so there are different worlds in VRChat, and I played a world that a bunch of people made. There was an homage to Shadow of the Colossus.
What?
So you basically like have to jump onto walls and climb up and cling onto walls and stuff. And
You can do stuff like that. Like the movement is that deliberate.
Well, it's not that great.
What do people start puking as they climb?
I felt like a puking because I run games on my potato, so
Oh dear.
it was a bit pukey for me. But it's you wouldn't expect it to be anything close to Shadow of the Colossus. But there was like they implemented gripping of the walls and stuff, so you could jump and then grip the wall, jump up and grip the wall some more. And
Nice.
stuff like that. So that was interesting.
All I remember is like I went into a world and everybody there was sleeping. Like literally sleeping with their VR headsets on.
What?
And then there was this guy going from person to person, like just screaming in their ear and waking them up.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh
like,
my goodness.
It's like, what the hell is going on?
What kind of world is that? Is it dedicated for people to take their naps?
I don't know. I just go into a random world and like everyone is sleeping. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And some of them had like full body capture, so that they were just like sleeping on it. It's so weird.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, it's cool stuff.
Right.
My stuff, on the other hand, is not as cool.
It's okay. Just talk about your process.
Yeah. So what happened this week? Chini suggested changing the color scheme, which I was planning to do. But so I was thinking. I'm sorry.
Looks like a Vim color scheme. Looks like something I would see like in like a Vim color scheme for some reason.
Yeah, it does. It does look a bit like Solarized or something.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That is what I was thinking.
Damn! Even for this, you have to
Hey man,
integrate Vim in it.
I used your color scheme low spec. Four.
Hey.
Low spec.
Yeah. So I used this one. I really like the colors on this one.
Polydux makes a lot of good stuff.
Interesting. Yeah, so I like this one. For some reason, I just ended up making it look more like Vim instead, more like Solarized instead. Anyway, so I changed the paddle down to one paddle instead because it was getting a bit confusing for me when I was like trying to navigate this around moving around. Right. But I'm still not entirely satisfied with the control scheme. Mainly because alright, so one of the things that Chinny suggested was to use the left-right motion. So previously I was sort of like your mouse cursor, the paddle would follow your mouse cursor. So you have to be like somewhere near the circle, and whenever you move your mouse, the paddle would end up at the angle where your cursor is from the center of the screen. And it was kind of weird because sometimes you lose track of where your cursor is. Yeah, and then you also get situations where you bring your mouse cursor out and then you bring it back in at the bottom, and then the paddle would just snap to that position. Whereas I wanted kind of a smoother motion. So Chinny suggested locking the mouse cursor and then just using the movement to shift the paddle, left-right motion to shift the paddle. But I'm still not entirely satisfied with this motion because at certain points it kind of gets confusing, especially like when you go to the other, like say I'm at the bottom. Yeah. Okay, Chow gets what I'm saying.
If you're at the top, is it?
I face the same problem.
Right.
Like when right now it's confusing because for me right now the control scheme is when you're at the top, left moves the paddle to the left, right moves the paddle to the right. But when you're at the bottom, left moves the paddle to the to the right, and right moves the paddle to the left. So I'm not entirely sure like how you would get around this problem.
There is some games that rotate the entire world rather than the paddle.
Okay. No, that still doesn't entirely solve the problem, right?
What do you mean? Because like I think the way I try to help myself get used to that kind of control scheme is to see it as clockwise versus anti-clockwise rather than left and right. But I can totally understand why that would be disorienting at certain points.
Yeah, I never solved it, so I don't know.
I guess the I guess if you put the paddle, I don't know, at the bottom of the screen or something, and then you rotate everything inside the circle, that is worth giving a try. Yeah, I think I will go and try that out.
I have a suggestion. What was that? I'm trying to remember. There's this Nitrom game called Beneath the Lighthouse, I think.
Say again?
Leaf?
Neath? How do you spell it? Oh, leaf. I see.
Beneath the Lighthouse.
Cannot spell. Beneath the Lighthouse.
And go to images, I guess.
Where does the color scheme, the palette look so much like
don't go to the free game. That's like the older version.
It looks so much like Fez.
Yeah, it's basically this game where you rotate.
This.
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah. So you might want to take inspiration from how they do it here.
Interesting.
But no, I think theirs is a mobile game, so it's just like literally rotates. Like you
rotate the entire phone.
You rotate the entire world, so it makes more sense.
Right. It's one of those puzzler where you rotate. Sorry, yes.
Yeah, like maybe you could like make it so that like there's like stuff on the edges, like maybe like embellishments, like decorations, basically, right? And when you rotate it, you don't rotate the Pong pedal. You rotate the entire circle. I think it's the top perspective. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
if you make it so that you're rotating the entire circle, it will make it seem more like turning left actually turns it clockwise or anti-clockwise, you know?
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Right.
Yeah.
So mark the circle with some decoration so people can see it. Is what I was saying, right?
Yeah, like you see how they have like specks of dust on the edges of the circle.
Yeah.
I never realized until like 2 seconds ago that that's like what they were trying to do. But yeah, that makes complete sense now.
Yeah. Oh, look at that dots along the circle.
Yeah.
That can help.
Yeah.
So if you're rotating the entire thing, then I think that will make a lot more sense. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. And one other thing I'm thinking about is I'm not entirely sure what the gameplay should be like. Just now, Chow, you mentioned something about like it took you about a couple of weeks or a couple of months to sort of nail down how the whole progression for your game would work. Yeah. So I'm hoping like within give me another 2 more months, and maybe I will think about how I will come up with an idea of how the progression or how the gameplay the mechanics should finally
but
work out.
You can craft out like a 20-second gameplay scenario, right? Just to see if that is fun first, before you think about the entire flow.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so right now I don't know like what a vertical slice would look like. I'm partially contemplating instead of one paddle, you have like a whole bunch of paddles around, like maybe 10 paddles around. And what you're doing is you're just rotating the thing, and you're just ultimately all you're doing is you're trying to prevent all these little balls from hitting the edge. And then so you just rotate by a little bit to avoid them. So you don't have to like right now you have to move like a huge amount just to get somewhere close to even hitting the balls. So I was thinking instead of just one paddle, have a lot of paddles with gaps in between, and so you're always shifting like a little bit, kind of like the what was that game again? Spin rhythm.
Spin Rhythm XD, I think.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So looking at how some of the how it's played. I didn't look too deep into it yet, but it looks like you could. How do I say it? There is a little bit of at some point it feels like you are I don't know how to say what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. Like, basically,
Yeah,
what you're saying is that like it's alternating. So you can just swap like left or right. Sometimes you don't need to swap it all the way around.
Yeah, exactly.
I see.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that. That's one thing I'm thinking about. The other thing I'm contemplating is maybe the paddle could absorb the bullets, the balls, and then at some point you press a button to fire them back. Yeah.
Here's what I was thinking. I was thinking the entire circle, right, is a pedal, right? And every time it hits a segment of the circle, that pedal is destroyed. But you can't have it touch the empty line. So it becomes harder and harder and harder and harder. And at the end, you're only left with one, and your goal is to get rid of all the segments. And each level, maybe the segments get smaller, so there's more segments of that, if that makes sense.
Segments as in segments refers to the white line or
segments refers to the yellow
thing. Oh,
yeah,
right.
so that
write that down.
There's like maybe like I don't know how like you will write it down, but like I guess destroyable segments.
Multiple segments, each destroyable. Win by
by destroying all of them. Yeah.
Okay, destroying all of them.
Then I guess without it hitting the empty line.
Right.
I see.
So like if you have like 4 segments, then it's very easy, right?
It becomes a circular breakout.
Yeah, circular breakout.
Cool.
Cool. Circular breakout.
Arcanoid.
Yeah, basically.
Also, circle pong. There's like a circular pong on Steam or something.
Oh, what?
Really? On Steam?
Yeah.
Online circle pong is online.
Yeah.
Not just a ping pong. In circle.
Okay. Oh, you should hear the music. Okay, I don't have it up. But look at this. Look at the title screen. Look at the title.
Circle.
That's when you know that things are gonna get good. But anyway, like not recommended. Like you are presented with online circle pong banner, which is like the most blatant red flag I can imagine. Anyway, it's just like
amazing.
Circle pong. Right?
Typo.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, just interesting stuff on the internet. Anyway. All great ideas. Thank you so much. I will have to spend the rest of the week experimenting with these ideas.
Yeah. Instead of watching YouTube videos.
YouTube videos. Oh, YouTube.
YouTube. Distractions everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's cool, man.
Yeah. So all I did this week was I did do some stuff. Like I implemented like a bit of collision detection. I don't know why, but I was insistent on doing a circle triangle intersection. So I like found some code somewhere.
Right.
That found a description of how to implement it. Because it turns out I actually don't know how circle triangle intersections should work.
Right.
Anyway, so I spent a couple of nights doing that. Yeah, I still don't have a good way of detecting collisions against the paddle, because you saw last time at the sites, if you time it just right, you just trap the ball in the edge.
Oh right.
Would
it be fine to just because the paddle has a certain kind of thickness, right? If you just intersect it like beyond a certain point, can you just ignore that collision?
I'm not quite sure what you mean.
Like how do I put it? If during the intersection, the circle is already past the half thickness of the paddle, you can ignore the collision, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe something like that. Or you can just treat it as a proper collision and then you resolve it along the normal. Would that work also? But that might be too big of a jump, right? You're worried about that, right?
I'm assuming right now you're just checking the angle of the circle to the center of the bullet to the center of the circle, and then I'm finding out like what segment of the circle is on, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll figure it out.
How long is that, actually? I don't.
I don't.
I noticed in the original Pong, right? The reference angle of the ball after collision is change. It always change, and that's because I mean the reference angle cannot always be the same, right? If it reflects like perfectly, then the game becomes very boring, right? Like the angle never actually changes. The trajectory of the ball is always the same. But in Pong, they kind of fake the, how do I put it? The response, the collision response isn't always like quote unquote realistic, because the angle in which the ball flies away from your paddle after you hit after the collision is dependent on where on the paddle the ball hits it.
Oh.
Yeah, so the more you hit it on the edge, the wider the angle.
Oh.
Something like that.
I did not realize that.
Yeah. You can look it up on like on YouTube. You can see some examples.
So it's not dependent on the velocity of your paddle.
No, I don't think it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had always assumed like it was the velocity of the paddle, like how fast you.
I thought so too. Then I saw like some examples of people playing Pong on YouTube, and it doesn't make sense. The response doesn't actually make sense. You know, yeah.
It depends on what version of Pong, I think. Like, if you're talking about the original Intellivision ones, then yeah, but like a lot of modern versions of Pong like have velocity integrated, I think.
The more modern version, is it?
Yeah, the more modern versions. Like Wizorb, like the
Wizorb. How do you spell it?
Wizorb.
Wizorb.
It's more like Breakout, to be honest, but
might have seen this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think this one has like
Cool.
Yeah, but it's always interesting to see like how a very old game does it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Tribute games sounds familiar.
Actually, now that I think about it, like even the earliest games were like circular, if you think about it, because all the terminals were circular, right? So you know the second game, the first game ever made was Tennis for Two. I think everybody knows that.
Right.
But the second game ever made was
it's called what? Tennis for Two. I didn't know that it has such a name. I just thought it's called Tennis.
Oh,
interesting.
No, it's called
Tennis for Two.
And the second one was called Space Wars, which included like gravitational vortex fields and and like all sorts of crazy stuff for the second game ever made, right?
Yes.
Like quite complex.
You can only play it in the university, right, somewhere.
Yeah. It was like quite crazy. But like I feel like a lot of these games are good inspiration because they have this kind of like retro feel to them, and they also have interesting physics that's like pretty simple to implement nowadays.
Space War.
Yeah, on the PDP one. Like look at that! Isn't that like crazy for like a second game ever made? Like got gravitational fields, got sun. There's like bullets actually like rotate around the sun. Like what the heck?
Oh man, 1962.
How like what? Like first we got Tennis for Two, then suddenly we get this crazy stuff.
Yeah. Did you get sucked into the black hole or something?
I'm not sure what's going on actually. It's not this unlike any version I've like I don't know why it's going on, like why they're just disappearing.
Nice,
but yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah. So I'm gonna take a look at all these examples. Yeah. Thanks for the ideas.
Yeah.
All right. That's it from me. Cheat again.
Just give me a moment, eh?
Yep. It's gonna be like showing up like the graded papers. It's just gonna come on screen.
Look, it's right here. See this?
Oh
Oh
man.
no. Anyways, nothing particularly interesting. I'll just like briefly talk about what I did. What I did manage to do over the week. I released Serious Scramblers postmortem. That's one thing. So I talk about like the sales figures and whatnot. What went right, what went wrong. That's one thing. Like if anyone is interested, I shared some of my findings there. I thought also that I need to get started on some of the administrative matters. So there's this thing called the Apple Small Business Program, which hang on, the Apple Small Business Program. But I guess for like small time developers, so long as your revenue or you haven't made like more than $1 million from them, right, you can apply for this program. So that way, right, for if I'm not wrong, for all of the in-app purchases, right, that you manage to make, the revenue from the in-app purchase, they will only take a cut of 15% rather than the usual 30%. So it's a good idea to take part in that. Also, Google has a similar program. So I have applied to both. No idea if it's going to go through yet. Another thing is I briefly looked up the app tracking transparency API, which is going to be a problem for me. So I realized very recently that Apple made some changes again, and that would require me to actually implement something into the game. So it's called the app tracking transparency, and the problem with that at the moment is that GameMaker doesn't actually support the API just yet, so I would actually need to file a ticket and get them to send me a extension that is currently in beta. So as a matter of fact, I'm not entirely sure what that app tracking transparency thing does, so I still have to look into that. One more thing that is pretty funny, and I think John has witnessed it, is okay, let me just run the game, right? I'll show you something. So actually, this has been a problem since Serious Scramblers. I noticed I have like this weird shader issue when I was running Serious Scramblers on the Switch, right? And it was later we found out that it was because of the floating point precision. The default precision for on the Switch, right, was like was medium P. It was at a like the precision for the floats by default is at a lower precision than when I test it on PC, and that resulted in weird problems. So this time around, right, this problem hits me again. So I just want you to take a look at this arrow here. You can see, right, this arrow is here. This striped line was implemented in the shader that I wrote. Then now take a look at this. This is what happens. Oh crap! Why is it like that? Do I have to double click this? Do I have to do this? Oh, there we go. So oh freak.
I just set it on looping, I guess.
Oh yeah, you're right. How do I?
Double click again.
Double click it again. Oh, loop. There we go.
You have to press again if you want to loop the one file. Yeah.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see that not only does it appear choppy, the shape is completely broken as well. So it's a precision issue. Sorry, what?
Space Invaders.
But yes, this is one of the problems, and in fact, it is primarily because I was using elapsed time, right? So as over time, right, as the number gets big, right, there's a lot of issues with precision there. So it was fixed with by just defining the default precision for the float within the shader to be high P. So that kind of fixed it. I'm not sure what's the implication of that for lower end devices. I hope I don't find out. Okay. Okay, so that's one. There's also another problem. It doesn't just affect striped stuff. How do I go to my playlist? Hang on.
Just hit the next. Like it's next to the.
This one?
Yeah. That one,
Ah,
yeah.
thank you. Damn, I'm a noob at VLC. You can kind of see, right? That the what do you call that? The portal.
Yeah.
The animation is also completely broken. It's super choppy, even though the game is not like lagging.
Right.
So that's one thing, right? The shape is not right anymore. It's supposed to be a few sine curves. So since the sine curve is drawn in the shader, that the precision affected it as well. And I don't think it's showing up clearly on the video, but I think I've talked about previously about how like I have balls in the background, right?
Yeah.
So it's not clear in this video, but the balls became something else altogether. It became like rectangles. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's super funny. Yeah. You can see it, right? It's here. It's a small rectangle here. So yeah, the fix is just a single line. So we just set the default precision to be high P, and that seems to be done. Now so yeah, I guess minor bug fixes. But aside from that, right, I've been writing the ad controller. Haven't got the proper. I haven't had the time to test it on device yet. But basically, I'm just setting out this controller, and it's supposed to determine when I can show an ad. And one thing that we had to pay special attention to is that when you show the ad, right, it has to be as frictionless as possible. Like you shouldn't show the ad while the player is playing the game. I think that part is common sense, right? But it seems that I think generally the best time to show it is after the level, during the transition, and the player say like, okay, I'm ready to go on to the next stage of whatever it is, right? So once they press the forward button, that's the best time to show the ads. So that's what I'm currently working on. I'm like doing the rooms, right, showing like a message from our sponsor and stuff like that. So just stuff to hopefully wrap up this entire portion of the development, right, monetization as a whole. One more thing that I need to take care of is GDPR. Which is the I forgot what it's called. It's John. Do you remember what GDPR is called?
No, I don't.
It's basically about protecting privacy. It's about privacy. So
General Data Protection Regulation.
Thank you. Which is a thing that is enforced in the EU. This is especially important. It's not just like ads. Because ads has like some form of tracking, right? Not always about personal data per se, but they might track like I'm not sure, like the ID of your phone maybe. I'm not super sure, but there is some form of tracking in there, and because of that, right, we have to do something to comply with this particular law, like this GDPR. So I have to write this agreements page, right? I have to write some text to describe why I am collecting, so-called quote-unquote collecting data, and I need the player's consent. So I already have the text for this in Serial Scramblers, right? I have it localized to 11 different languages, so I can just pull it from there and put it into this game. But yeah, I would like to point out that it's not just ads. If you implement like some basic form of game analytics, you need to disclose it as well. Yeah, and which actually brings to mind, right? Like, so we are doing all this in mobile, right? We are taking this very seriously for mobile games. How is it that when we do analytics using the Steam API, we don't have to disclose it?
Maybe Steam already has an agreement with, because like initially when you're signing up for the Steam stuff, right? There's a lot of stuff that you have to sign, so maybe it's part of that as well.
It's probably part of the fine prints in there.
I remember there's something about the EU in there as well. It might be related to PR.
Right. Yeah, I suppose. Okay, I guess that's roughly it. I couldn't show like the ads thing. In fact, I only just created the ad units for this game. The ad units, the interstitial ads, the rewarded ads, right, for the different platforms. So you have to create them separately. Then I need to add a test device So I thought I've added my test device already, but it turns out that I'm not sure why, but under the page for test devices is blank, so I have to go and edit again. So I will have to do that after this stream.
Right.
And that's it. That's all I have. Nothing to show, just a bunch of words.
I think it's good.
Bug fixes.
Bug fixes. Yeah, some bug fixes, I guess. Yeah. I just thought the high P, medium P stuff was quite funny. The first time I saw it, I thought like, is my game lagging? And I look at it and no, the character is moving smoothly. It's just the background that was kind of lagging. But yeah, it's a precision issue. That's funny. And that's it. Yeah, what I'm gonna do next is just to hopefully wrap this up and pray everything goes well. Then I will have to follow up with the Apple and we'll see like how we can move forward. That's it. Shall we call it?
There is one more thing that I've forgotten to mention.
Yes.
Pretty important actually, so I should share my screen.
Oh, share your screen. Okay, just a moment.
It's not to do with it's not to do with skull chains, but it's quite important. So
okay.
Yeah, check it out.
Wow.
Panel discussion. It's September the 7th. Wonderful.
Yeah, 7th September, 8 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. We'll be talking about how everyone can be a game designer. Really, like, I'll be basically talking about like, easy and accessible ways to approach game development.
Right.
And I spent a lot of time prepping for this talk and stuff. So, somebody in chat asked, what is this special event? It's like a talk part of the Art Science Museums. I think it's part of a larger thing, which I can't remember the name of right now for some reason. I'm like helping give a talk on it, and I'm gonna be talking about primarily tips for like getting started. So it's like if you want to like learn to be a game developer, or like what to do to get started, I think this will be a very good talk for that. But yeah,
nice.
That's
awesome.
Cool.
We'll be tuning in.
What time is it again?
7th of September, 8 p.m. to 9:15.
8 p.m. on the YouTube
channel.
There's
a watch, and it will basically be live on YouTube. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That is in a week's time. Looks like, yeah.
Yeah. About a week's time.
About a week's time. Yeah. Fantastic.
Okay, so I'll stop streaming and I guess we'll do a recap.
Yeah, let's do a recap then.
Okay, so basically for me, I did a level editor, wave editor. We did some tweaks to the enemies, but for the most part, I think I will be doing more work on the enemies as well as finishing up the editor for the next week. And that's basically it.
Will you be making like a few waves for playtesting purpose?
Yes, I will be. So I'll definitely be doing that. But I'm not sure how many maps I'm gonna do. I'm definitely gonna do more than one now. But
Oh, then I look forward to a build on Saturday.
And the build by right should also have the editor inside it. So yeah.
Awesome.
You can analyze the maps if you want to or whatever.
Yeah.
Make your own. Yeah.
Yeah.
And on my end, I touched the game a little bit, changed the color scheme and stuff, and implemented a little bit of collision detection. But anyway, next week, I'll try out some new ideas that you all have suggested, multiple segments and stuff like that. Yeah, hopefully we'll have something that is actually a little more fun to play.
Do you suffer from decision paralysis?
I guess.
Like so many possibilities, right?
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. I feel like I have suffered from the same thing before, but I think if we look at it this way, like if you just focus on making it fun for 10 seconds first, maybe it'll help.
Yeah. The way I look at it is like try to make it especially arcade games, right? Try to make it feel like a toy at first. Try to make it feel good to actually play the game, even without winning or losing. Once you can get that down, then you can start adding in all the rest. Especially for arcade games, I think is very important. The overall, like, not game feel. I'm not talking about like juice. I'm talking about like overall. Yeah, I'm talking about overall game feel, but I'm not talking about juice in particular. If that makes sense. I'm not talking about feedback.
Right,
I'm talking
right.
about how it kind of works. I want to kind of you want to kind of make it like a toy, and make it like just feel good to play. Yeah.
Awesome.
You know how like in Super Mario like 64 they spent like 3 months
a month,
on the
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing, right? The amount of effort that goes into just making sure that the jumping feels great, the movement feels great. Yeah.
Yeah.
That discipline is crazy. Yeah. Cool. You have anything to add, John?
Nope.
For my end, I don't know. I look at my to-do list, right? Everything that is left is the boring stuff. So, yeah. So, GDPR next week. ATT next week. And game analytics next week. Yeah, there we go.
Last 1%. Last 1%.
Last 1%. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Shall we call it then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for doing this. This is fun. We're learning. And we do this every week on the Sunday, GMT plus 8, 3 p.m. So let's do this again in a week's time.
Okay.
Okay, see you all.
See you. Bye
Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
See ya. Okay, yeah, I guess that's about it. We have talked about what we need to talk about, and we'll spend the next week working on our respective games, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'll have to end it here, but before that, let me just rate. Who's streaming right now?
Is Mask Sound streaming? Is
Mask Sound
Kyla
streaming?
streaming? Is Kyla
I don't think Kalazor's streaming. He just raided me earlier. Yeah, let's raid Mask Sound. I wonder if it's case sensitive, the username. Kalazor's. Okay, yeah. Thanks everyone. I'll run the outro and then we'll do a raid. See you all. Bye bye.